Greetings YouTube, Skill Incarnate bringing you all the latest indie gaming goodness. Welcome back as we look at another early access game. This time we're having a look at For the People by 101XP, a new indie developer. Now in this game you play in an alternate reality version of the Soviet Union. You're an up-and-coming governor in charge of running a city. Your decisions will have a lot of weight and sometimes mean the difference between life and death. Now this game is a bit different in that it is a visual novel, but I really like visual novels and I thought maybe trying one on the channel might be something you'll enjoy as well. Now in the interest of full disclosure, this is from a prospective sponsor to the channel. The first one I've ever had, or the first offer I've ever had from a sponsor that hasn't been shady. I thought instead of jumping in and doing sponsored videos, I'd first have a look at some of their games, and they've politely obliged. We're going to have a look at this game together, and I'm going to let you know what my thoughts are. Let's have a bit of a look. The Corvan Empire that had exploited the working people fell, providing a chance for a better future for the common people all over the world, regardless of their gender, skin colour and social status. We believed the whole world would follow us, but our hopes for a world revolution and a bright future were not to come true. We were alone. All these years the country was wisely guarded by our Communion Working Party. Comrade Joseph Steele, a facsimile of Stalin I assume, the General Secretary of the CUWP and the Chairman of the Supreme Council of the Union of Communes, has ruled our state for the past 15 years. It was a surprise for all of us when, on the anniversary of his election to this post during the 20th Party Congress, he announced the appointment of Comrade Guy Deere, a young and energetic reformer, as the chairman of the Communion Executive Committee. I will never forget Steele's face staring at me from the photo in the newspaper. It felt like he was looking directly into my soul. We were all seized by a sense of impending change we had to go through, but even I could not guess how quickly I would be dragged into what was happening. My name is Francis Reaver. I'm 26. I graduated with honours from the Corvington Institute of Management and National Economy, and after that I joined the CUWP. I've been an active member of the All-Stat department during the last 3 years. The phone suddenly rang on the evening of September 11. That's ominous. The Central Committee of the CUWP was calling for me. I was told that according to the new course policy, I got into the staff rotation program as a worthy CUWP member and an outstanding alumni of the Corvington Institute. That's how I found myself in Iron 1. Iron 1 was founded near the Wolfram deposits during the times of the Corvan Empire in 1888. It was known as Blackmont back then. It was a small mining town, but our glorious Orange Revolution turned it into a leading industrial city with almost 50,000 citizens. Almost half of them are representatives of the Kent people, others are Corvinian. So we've got two factions in the game. I was appointed the head of the city committee. I've become the ruler of the city. I have to move into my new office today. And on that we begin the game. Good morning, Comrade Reaver. My name is Helen Rosie. I am your secretary. I'm not going to do a girl's voice, by the way. I won't punish you guys with that. Good morning, Comrade Rosie. Glad to meet you. Comrade River, excuse me for my curiosity. Comrade Lebowski. Come on, guys. Comrade Lebowski was removed so suddenly that I didn't even understand what was happening. How did it happen that the city committee is led by such a young leader? I hope it didn't sound rude. Everything's all right, Comrade Rosie. My appointment here is part of the party's new course. As General Secretary Steele puts it, young leaders for a progressive order. And Comrade Lebowski has been sent into honourable retirement. I think we know what honourable retirement means in this universe, as a tribute to his long and honest service. It explains a lot. You can call me for any help. Oh, and one thing that just slipped my mind, Comrade Lebowski was removed, he was killed. So suddenly he didn't have time to solve some issues. You can review the necessary documents, I left them on your table. Thank you very much, Comrade Rosie, I think we'll make a great team. I hope we'll see more of her. We will, I'm sure. Okay, it's now time to look at the appeals from the city. First one is, I'm writing to you not for the first time. Point of my complaint is that there is an annoying, strange noise 1 floor above my apartment situated in Orange Banner Street. I am a veteran of the Liberation War and a hero of social labour. I worked at factory for 50 years, I have an awarding medal. In that case, may I pretend a quiet aging? I ask you to deal with these noisemakers and vandals in my building as soon as possible. I thank you in advance, Alistair Shallow. So we have 3 choices. This does feel very similar to another game I reviewed called We the Revolution. Thankfully we don't have to preside over a courtroom, but we do have to make some decisions that will affect our standing within the party, and possibly affect the lives of the citizens in our city. Now, I think this guy is tripping. I'm not going to send the police to their house just on a noise complaint. There may actually be something going down there, so we're going to send the municipals, which I assume are the same as a social worker or a building inspector, someone that's usually sent out for minor complaints. Workers of municipal services did not find vandals or noisemakers in the building. Nothing suspicious came back from Canvas 2, apparently the old man imagined it all. Easy fixed. Let me introduce myself. I am Henry Johnson's Colonel of the 17th Rifle Division, retired. I have honorary rewards and a certificate of honour from General Winterstay himself. I would like to report that I am extremely concerned about the military patriotic training of the young generation of the UPOC. In my day, everyone knew that they had hard but glorious work to do for the benefit of the commune since they were kids, and they made sure they were ready for it. It was so rewarding to watch the trim, neat and well-dressed young men merrily marching to perform their weekly volunteer work. And what do we have now? Slackers, slobs and layabouts all around. All the modern louts do nothing but hang out in their residential buildings playing some rubbish on their guitars. And drinking cheap liquor. If those things happened in my unit, what's the point? They don't listen to us anymore. A couple of weeks ago I tried to chase such bad elements away from my residential building, but they seized my stick and almost beat me up with it. Me, a garrison service veteran. Such a disgrace. Even a complete fool could figure it out. Connivance is to blame for such demoralisation. We should have looked out for the boys better. We gave them too much time to spare. Allowed them to walk around in rags, grow long hair, listen to bad modern music, all of this needs to stop. In my leisure time, I was working on a plan that would help eliminate these signs of moral degradation. And I came to the conclusion that we need to establish a whole system of patriotic institutions for all ages. Discipline and socially beneficial labour are exactly what the future workers need. I propose to start with an exemplary camp for 100 to 200 youngsters aged 12 to 16. I will personally take responsibility for the organisation. It's crystal clear I have enough experience. Now, it seems like a good idea, but a lot of it hinges on whether this guy has some ulterior motives. Having him in charge of a bunch of children, it's an interesting decision. I'm going to go with it because I think that maybe with a bit of discipline, it might make the city, it might drive down crime, and it might help with morale for the city. I'm just hoping that Henry Johnson is as upstanding a citizen as he makes himself out to be. You enthusiastically supported Johnson's idea, and he fervently engaged in building the camp. Soon it became clear that pulling weeds in the retired colonel's garden is not the most socially useful activity. Okay, well, it sounds like that was a good decision. Last one. My heart aches, even though I am only 55. It does not ache of a disease. Oh, I would be relieved if it did. My heart goes out for the UPOC. This sensitive organ of mine is bleeding every time I see something indecent, unworthy of the glorious land of the communes. And what does a worker see most often? He sees his home. Home sweet home, not much to look at, but well built and fine. You are the ship that carries the tenant passengers into the bright future. So where is the captain that controls my beautiful ship? Where is the helm he takes during evenings, days and nights? It's the housing department. Alas, not everybody deserves to be captain. Not everyone understands the essence, the sacrificial heroism of such vocation. Sometimes the captain is not very clever. That's when the ships of building come into disrepair. There is some issues with punctuation, you can see here too. Sometimes he's angry, stingy and cooks the books to the misfortune of us, the tenant passengers. He could be honest, of course, and clever as a man of ideas. But the damage one person could make is worse than the deeds of 7 good men. Now, one of the things I've noticed in this, which a lot of these people are writing in, but they don't have any evidence. They're saying that these people are being corrupt, and I'm just supposed to take them at their word. It seems the due process isn't a very popular concept in this alternate reality. Let's move on though. Simply put, Comrade River, my building superintendent, is a building super governor, a building super Kaiser, a building super tyrant. Just imagine he takes my poems off the nearby bulletin board, saying it is there for another purpose, but don't my poems praise the party? Don't my poems light the future of working people's hearts, as if other things could be useful than such poems? This charlatan is regularly taking money from us to paint benches or change light bulbs. Some things of that kind actually happen, but we are not dumber than he is. We are well aware that in fact all of the necessary money and more are being provided by our glorious party and Comrade Jagaleski. This miserable human being is putting the collected money in his pocket for sure. That is why I, the one who loves a commune with my passionate soul, of a mouthpiece of the revolution, would like to propose to bring the residential buildings over to the city under the party control. Of course, I do not expect a party member to be assigned to every single building to watch the citizens like a hawk, as quarterly inspections and communications with residents would be enough. I am sure it will not be a burden for the comrades, such a pleasurable activity. I suggest we start with my house. And there we see his motive. This guy is angling for something to help him out, so he can go pound sand. We've seen right through him. It seems that Bitter's superintendent might know a thing or two about poetry. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said about Damien Bitter himself. Denied. Bitter's poetry did not bring you any pleasure, so why should you please him? So now we've signed all of our edicts for the day, we have to have a chat with some of our government official contacts and get a bit of an idea of some of the other major powers in the city. It appears we have a phone call. River is on the line. Colonel Chester, head of the police, is calling. Shall I connect you? Yes, if you would be so kind. Hello, Comrade River. I'm Colonel John Chester, head of the Integrity Division in Iron 1. I'm calling to offer my congratulations on your appointment. Thank you very much, Comrade Chester. I'm pleased to meet you and thank you for your congratulations. You don't know how pleased I am, but frankly, some problems are overshadowing my joy. And we should talk them over. Would you mind if I met you? Let's say in the evening after tomorrow. Now, I want to be careful in dealing with the various factions. I don't know a lot about them yet, and I don't want to end up in anyone's pocket. So we're going to try and set some ground rules. I'm afraid my predecessor left me too many unsolved problems. I've got a reception day scheduled for the 15th of September. Could you visit me on that day? I understand, Comrade River, a job's a job. I'll meet you on the 15th. So we've got 3 days. Oh, it's a busy day for us. Another phone call. Head of the City Committee of Iron 1, Francis Reaver, is on the line. Hi Frank, it's Rayan. Okay, looks like a childhood friend. I didn't expect to hear from you, especially on the party phone. Let me explain. I am a major and head of the political department in this town. This line is secure and that's why I'm using it. I'm happy I'm going to work with an old friend. And what's the deal with the secure line? Change always brings problems, Frank, and the Union is changing rapidly. Some might say too rapidly. The situation is complicated, but I'm sure we'll work on it properly. Maybe a bit against the rules sometimes, but it's for a good cause. To sum it up, I'd rather meet you tomorrow and discuss it in private. Again, we're going to try and keep things by the book. I'll connect you with my secretary. She'll register for you an appointment when I have some free time. I've got a lot of work to do. See you tomorrow. Okay. Sounds like he's not going to take no for an answer. Oh, it's our buxom secretary, Helen. Excuse for the intrusion. The secretary of the city committee, Comrade Sarah Chester, prepared a few dossiers on the important figures of Iron 1. They could be useful. Okay, thank you. Put it on the table for me. Please, Comrade River, there's no need. My job is to help you. Anyway, the workday is soon to be over. It's improbable I may need you until tomorrow. My conscience doesn't allow me to hold you here. You're free to go. Thanks a lot, Comrade River. In that case, see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, Comrade Rosie. I hate to see you go, but I love to watch you leave. Okay, so now we can read the dossier on hopefully some of the other political parties in the town and how they can help us, or what possible threats they may bring. Now, thankfully, this dossier has information on all of the major players in the city. We can get a bit of an insight on what makes them tick and try and look for potential allies and also identify people that we may want to avoid. Now, first in the list we have Lieutenant Colonel Sylvester Bayer. He has no mother and father, he was an orphan. No wife and children. He is the head of the fire department, a fire chief. Non-party with records for disorderly conduct during his years of study. Fully atoned for his guilt via socially beneficial work. Selfless and devoted man married to his work, saved numerous people in fires of all levels of threat while risking his own life. Recommended for medal 3 times but was not awarded due to murky past and undetermined origins. He sounds like a pretty solid guy. He's had a rough life, but he's an honest man by the sound of it. Next we have Carl Bacot. His father was Thomas Bacot, son of a village doctor. His mother was Uma Bacot, who was a dairymaid. He got an education at the pediatrics department of the Allstat Medical School. So he's a pediatric surgeon, I'm assuming. He's the chief doctor at Iron One First City Hospital. He's married, and his wife is the head nurse. He has a child, Sarah Chester, and Nival Bacot. He's a party member since 1960, no criminal record, numerous certificates and awards for medical achievements, member of Iron One Civilian Patrol, not transferred to Allstat Regional Polyclinic due to health reasons. So he has a disability. But nonetheless, he seems like an upstanding man and a good member or a possible ally. Colonel John Chester. His father was Jack Chester, and he was the director of the Klaus Wolfram Metallurgical Plant. I'm assuming that's a steel mill. His mother was Diana Chestwell, who was the administration secretary of the same metallurgical plant. He went to law school. He's the head of the Integrity Division, which I'm assuming is either Internal Affairs or FBI, or whatever the communist version of that is. He's married. He has two children, Brad and Uma Chester. Party member since 1969, no criminal record, awarded the Order of Bravery for saving lives during duty. Great executive and exemplary family man. Okay, another pretty solid guy. Jack Reed. Interesting, doesn't sound like a Russian name. His father was Klaus Reed, participant in the workers' strikes during the Great Revolution. Employee of the metallurgical plant in Iron One. His mother was a lawyer, and she died of a stroke. Poor guy. He is a union leader at the Klaus Wolfram Metallurgical Plant. Non-party, no criminal record, was a suspect in the case of underground worker organisation, but the prosecution could not find enough evidence. So he's a union boss. This guy may be a problem for us later on. Jack Chester. His father was Hans Chester. He was a participant in the Great Revolution. He died of cardiac arrest. His mother died during a train detonation. This guy's had a pretty rough life. He got a secondary education and higher education at the University School of Government. He's the director of the Klaus Wolfram Metallurgical Plant, so the steel mill director. He's married, he has a wife. He has one child, John Chester. No, I thought that was his child there. Party member since 3rd to 3rd, 1956, no criminal record, excellent executive, honorary worker of Iron One and merited executive of the UPOC. Beloved by his workers. Another pretty solid guy. Gene Kipler. Born 1900. Gene Kipler, and her father was Gans Kipler. He was a participant in the Great Revolution and the Civil War, member of the Union of the Purification, injured during the war and relocated to the rear guard. Participant in the construction of Iron One, built the site of the reactionary Royal Archaic Settlement. Died of a heart attack. Mother was Farima Butat. Died in childbirth, so she died giving birth to her daughter. She's the head of the Livelihood Committee, divorced, and she has one child who lives with her father. So looks like there was a bit of a breakup there in her marriage. Party member, no criminal record. Reformed the city committee into the Livelihood Committee, broadening its jurisdiction and funding. I'm wondering what that means. Livelihood Committee. Again, a lot of these names aren't very descriptive. Sarah Chester. Okay, so she is the daughter of Jack Chester. Okay. Clara Bacot. Higher education at the Ulster Community University Philological School. She's married and she has 2 children. Party member since 1980, no criminal record, editor for the weekly newspaper. Wonderful and observant. And finally we have Colonel Mark Winterstay. His father was Lothar Winterstay, who was a traitor to the people. Warrant officer in the General Siegel's Black Army, taken prisoner and sentenced to penal labour. Participant in the construction of Iron One. I'm guessing he was slave labour, basically, executed by firing squad. Damn. Mother was Sarah Winterstay, who died due to an accident in the plant. The Wolfen Metallurgical Plant, same plant as some of the other workers in the dossier. There's a lot of accidents at this plant. She's the commander of the 11th Motorized Regiment, so he has a military background. He's married, and he has one son who looks like he's following his example, a captain in the Kent Orange Navy. No criminal record, serves a UPOC with dedication despite his tarnished ancestry. Distinguished himself during army service, received numerous recommendations. First child born in Iron One, refused to be transferred to another military base, with promotion several times, member of the Military Patriotic Society Honour. So this guy has had a pretty bad past. He's been living in the shadow of his parents' mistakes. And that can be a pretty hard thing to live with. It looks like he's trying to prove that he's not the same as his dad. So we now have a bit of an idea of each of the players in town, and a few ones that we may want to avoid. And on that, we're going to end the day and this video. I would love to do more of this game, so if you want to see more of the game, please let me know. Would I recommend this game? Absolutely. I'm a little bit further into the game, and while it does start pretty slow, it is very story heavy. The game does have a very interesting story, and I like the idea of alternate history. It really appealed to me. Now this game is out at the time of recording, a little over a week, so you may want to wish this if this is one you want to keep an eye on. I'd recommend this to all fans of visual novels, like myself, fans of alternate history, and people who just like a good story. It was great to look at a product from maybe a potential sponsor that's one that I can wholeheartedly recommend. I hope to look at some of their other work, because if it's as impressive as this, then it will be stuff that I'll really want to try out. Let me know what you think of this game. Have you bought it? Have you finished it? And what did you think of the game? I hope you'll join me next time when we look at another indie game. Again, my thanks to the developer for an opportunity to have a look at this great visual novel. Until next time, Skill Incarnate out.